Today in this video I will be going over my key bindings for Air RB coupled with a download link to my controls, and I'll be showcasing a few air battles with a keyboard on the screen so you can see exactly what buttons I'm pressing and what it looks like to play my controls. Now keep in mind there's a million ways to do the same thing in War Thunder, and everybody has their own take on what their controls should be. However, I think I've found a couple things over my time of playing War Thunder since 2013 that might make your life just a little bit easier, such as how I have my wing sweep and thrust vectoring set up, and just some little nuances and simple key bindings that I have. And down in the description below I do have a link to my control settings if you're on PC and you'd like to import them. And all you have to do is go into your controls, click the little file icon at the bottom, and just import the controls after you've downloaded it. And now a quick word from our sponsor, because the Systematic Psycho Jr. is on his way and we're making this thing happen. Does it feel like you're getting kicked around by the prices of everything these days? Are you without Eagles? Or just a few shy away from getting that one day of premium? Well, never fear, Golden Eagles for War Thunder is here. Earn Golden Eagles by filling out surveys, playing games, and downloading apps. And it gets even better. If you use my code XJYZK when signing up, you will get an additional 10 Golden Eagles. The app link and my code will be down in the description below. And thank you for your guys' support. This goes a long way to supporting the channel. Now, for the video. Alright, so we're going to go into our controls, and we're going to start right here under the quick settings at the very top. And we'll also go over something in the common settings, and if I can think of anything else before I finish, I'll try to slide it in there. But we're going to start here, and this stuff actually doesn't matter, so we're going to skip right past that. Controls mode, mouse aim, none of this should, honestly, all this stuff should be the same. Keep your virtual instructor on. This is my tilde key. If you are a little bit of a higher level player, if you're pretty confident in your controls, you probably have a toggles control mode button, and this just switches to simplified, realistic, and full wheel controls, which are just modes that are going to enable you to have full control over your plane. However, it does turn it into an uncontrollable mess, and so you just have to use it in the right situation. But yeah, that's tilde key. That's pretty accessible, and that's something that's in the realm of grabbing pretty easy. Hover mode is a default binding. I don't use this, so I'm just going to move past that. Mouse wheel is none, and so you're thinking, you know, what's up with that? You know, don't you do your throttle or your stages or your afterburner? No, I don't have stages of the afterburner, and it kind of sucks with my setup, but it's really, honestly, I don't find it to be the biggest deal. The maps in the games in War Thunder are pretty short. So just running full afterburner is totally fine for me. And then so throttle access is W and S. I've seen where people can have it as shift and control or something else. I'm a big W and S fan, so W and S is just forward and reverse on the throttle. And then I do have hold throttle for WEP. Roll is A and D. I do have left and right arrow keys bound. I'm not really sure why, but it's there. But A and D is what's important here, and you definitely need your roll axis bound. This is the big one right here, your pitch axis. So I have caps lock and space. So caps lock will be pitch down and space will be pitch up. But caps lock is going to help you from blacking out. So that's the key that you're going to tap as you're starting to black out to kind of extend your turn a little bit. That's where that's pretty useful. And spacebar is just going to give you a full pull. And you can actually get more of a pull out of having a button bound like spacebar than you can out of your mouse. And it's just going to maximize your performance in a turn. Yaw being your rudder is Q and E, and always, I've heard of people not having rudder bound, and I would say you should definitely have rudder bound. It's going to help you kick your plane around, say when you're coming over the top of a stall, or it's just a quirky way to be able to control your plane, and it's just going to give you some, especially, I think low speed control is where that usually comes into place. But anyway, this is the really the big one that I highly recommend, and this is why we don't have any mouse wheel. Mouse wheel up and down is going to be my thrust vector. So say you're in something like the Harrier, the Yak 141, having thrust vector is going to increase your flight performance tenfold, especially if you kind of learn how to use it. I can't recommend having this enough, and mouse wheel is a great way to be able to variably control it. And then if you go ahead and double click on this, you will be able to copy my settings. These are my settings I have for my mouse. I would start with, you know, checking all the boxes, basically setting it up exactly like I have here. Increase value and decrease value, mouse wheel up and down, and then setting up all these. And then you can kind of play around with these. These basically affect how aggressively your mouse wheel interacts, but this is what mine's at. It should be about the same for yours, but if it's not, if it's too slow or whatnot, just like I said, just play with these. You'll get a feel for it. And then moving on, no hover height, no inverse or invert, whatever. Force feedback. I don't know if you have force feedback in your mouse. I don't, but you know, just in case, I have that turned on. Boosters is like some planes like the A4 and a few other things have like solid rocket boosters that you can ignite that help you take off. I save them until I need them, like maybe in a dogfight for just a little bit of free energy. But anyway, that's B. And then just like the thrust vectoring, I have wing sweep also bound. So this is double bound to the mouse wheel up and mouse wheel down. Same deal with this. Copy all these settings. But this is how I sweep my wings, and this gives you a variable control of your wings, and I find it pretty important as well. And it's really nice to have, especially as an F-14 pilot. Switch wing sweep control mode. This is also pretty important because what you do at in the beginning of the match is you switch from automatic to manual mode. You set your wing sweep all the way out, and then you switch back to automatic. So all you have to do is hit this button again, and your wings are all the way back out in the F-14 immediately. Or not immediately, but, you know, they'll extend out as far as they can given the speed. But that way, you know, basically you switch into dogfighting mode or maneuverability mode, and then you switch into speed mode. That's the best way to really put it. And then flaps is F. I'm pretty sure it's pretty standard for everybody, but flaps is F. Flaps down and flaps up are bracket keys. This is a little bit of a weird one, but I do find myself able to identify these keys on the keyboard really quickly, and I've used them so much. But you know, sometimes you need full flaps on a plane, and those are the keys that I've chosen. It works well though. I mean, I don't feel at a disadvantage because I know, you know, where I'm going, and plus bracket key left and right. For some reason, I can identify that with flap up and down pretty easy. Toggle air brake is H. I probably fumble this button the most, but it's pretty universal for H. Gear is G. Drag chute is G alt. Remember this one. Some of these higher tier planes have drag chutes. They'll land you a lot faster if you use them. G and alt. And that might be a default binding, I'm pretty sure. And then for the mouse, I have, of course, left click is just going to shoot all the guns, but I also have the option to fire this usually when guns are in like separate pairs. But you can get rid of the first set, and then you get rid of the second set, or you can have like 20 mils and shoot your machine guns, but that's 1 and 2, and that's something I can reach to with my fingers. Let's see, I don't have anything else bound. I don't really find a need for any of this stuff. Maybe jettison secondary weapons could be a good one to figure out how to squeeze in there. Open bomb bay doors backspace. That's just, you know, obvious reasons why you'd want to have your bomb bay already open if you're going to drop a bomb. And then moving to the side mouse buttons for bomb and rocket. So this is the back side mouse button, and this is the forward side mouse button, and then that's just bombs and rockets for me. It always has been. It's a very simple way to set it up. I've actually removed all the other bindings like space, so I don't need spacebar for drop bomb, so I can use that to pitch up, and spacebar is a great one for pitch up, so that's why I'd rather just have it on the side of the mouse. And this is where you're going to find my shortcomings as far as a cast loadout. I'm not really, so I'm fine at lower tier casts. I haven't really delved into the area of high tier casts, so that's where this control setup is really kind of going to be lacking. This is, I think, all pretty much default bindings for like the higher tier laser guided stuff and all that type of stuff. Let's see, drop additional fuel tank is right shift. That's a good one to know, you know, especially at higher tiers. Weapon air to air lock, I hit 1, that's 1, and also left control works. Fire air-to-air missile, that also works for lock as well. So left control is, I can double tap left control to just go ahead and shoot. I can tap 1 to lock. I'm not sure why I ended up doing that. It's fine, it works. And then but I think there's also some weird bugs with the lock missile thing where like your lock seeker will go away, and I think left control fixes that right there for me. I don't know, it's weird. War Thunder is weird, and there's been a lot of stuff with controls, and these, as I've said, have been over the time period of like so many hours and so many years, so my stuff's probably pretty funky compared to what you're used to. Switch weapons R, so since there's no reload in Air RB, which is on 10, it's, you know, that's what I usually play. R is what I'm going with for my cycle through weapons. So if I'm cycling through, you know, if I have multiple different weapons that I can fire off of the plane, R is what I'm switching through with. All my countermeasures is off of left shift. That's just how I set it up. It's simple. It works for me. It's just one less binding that I have to worry about. Hitting your flares really quick is a lot. So I just keep that simple. something that could maybe evolve later on, or something, you know, that you could maybe implement on if you were to copy this. And then periodic countermeasures. This is pretty important, especially for the A10. You just hit P, let the flares rock, fly around the battlefield, and don't worry about missiles. And then O, this is like if you have automatic countermeasures. This is how you turn that on and off. I hate automatic countermeasures. I like the warning. I just don't like the actual deploying of the countermeasures. And then I'm going to kind of skip over this stuff. Like I said, these are all default bindings. And then this is the radar stuff. So I do have a video, and I'll link that here. I am missing like one other thing I did something after the video, and I'm not necessarily sure, but I mean, just go ahead and copy this. If you type in radar, that's a good way to see all your radar bindings. So that's just a visual reference for you. But essentially what I have here is I have everything set up for the number pad. And so I can do mostly everything with the number pad, barring the putting the like the box up on your screen where you can just look at something and it locks it up. That's X, because that's something I need to get to very quickly, so I leave that at X. And then I also use Z to change the shape of the box, like to the one that's more above me. Say if I'm like pulling into somebody, I can switch to that box and lock them up. And so X and Z are very, very important, especially once you get into the radar stuff, to do quick missile launches. And definitely something I would recommend looking into. Alright, so getting past the radar stuff, R for reload, not really important. Ballistic computer B, so make sure you have your cannon ballistic computer on, especially at higher tier when you're ready to shoot some ground targets and farm up some ground targets, especially in something like the A10. This is going to be your best friend. Let's see, not important, not something I use. Toggle gunners, don't really use any of that stuff. V is my change view button. I don't use any of these other ones. I just hit V, switch to the views. And then C is going to be my free look. I don't see it on here, but C is my free look. That is really, when you're playing Finger Twister, for some reason C works pretty well on your keyboard. Let's see, what else here? Nothing really super important here. L is your aerobatic smoke. O, open cockpit. Not really something you use much. I do use the smoke all the time. Who doesn't want a little bit of smoke at the beginning of the game? Not important. Auto control the engine. I just run that on automatic. I know you can do more with this and do manual engine control and get a little more performance out of the whole thing, but this works fine for me. And I just leave these all off. And then toggle engine, toggle extinguisher, you know, nothing really too much there. Common settings. This is the one other thing I wanted to show you. Let's see. Map is M, scoreboard's tab. Okay, I guess there's a few things in here. Multifunction menus Y. But this is the real important one. Set target for squad. If you don't have this bound, you're wrong. If you're on a controller and you don't have this bound, you're wrong. If you're on PC and you don't have this bound, you're super wrong. Bind this. This is super important, especially if you play with people. But even at the off chance that you have an auto-squatted teammate with you, just to be able to give them a little bit of intel. That marker is insanely useful. It's like pointing to something, you know, for somebody, and them actually being able to see what you're pointed at. So yeah, there you go. There's the end of the controls portion. I'm going to jump over to some gameplay that I have here. One's going to be, actually they're both going to be high tier, but I mean it essentially applies to fighting props and everything else too, as far as just basic maneuvers. I really wanted to show high tier just because you can see me hitting like a lot of the radar buttons and some of the other like extra shit, and I figured you guys would appreciate that. And yeah, and then stay tuned to the very end because we have a pretty steezy little J-37DI dogfight. So yeah. So Mysterious Valley air spawns. Notice that we're W keying right away. I'm gonna hit N, switch into that semi-auto mode, put my wing sweep all the way to 0, and then go back to auto, so that when I come back to it, it's already ready to put my wings all the way out. So if you look over at my number pad, I'm also going to hit the minus key. It's going to put me in a TWS mode. It's going to also hit the plus button to bump out the range to 93 kilometers. And then I'm just going to focus on getting into range, hitting R to switch my missiles. And then, you know, so what we can also do very early on is we can look at everybody and we can get a picture painted, find a target, and then get ready to launch. I sometimes like to pick a target in the back a little bit, because they never expect the first missile to be coming for them. So I'm going to get rid of that Falcor right there. launch off. We're just gonna hold on to that one. I'm not gonna launch another one. We have a lot of fighting left to do here. All right, now that one's rocking and rolling. We're gonna turn cold. That guy is hopefully on a good path to meet my Falcor. And I'm hitting you for the missile cam as well. I do like the missile cam. It's something I didn't talk about in the video. Missile's doing its thing. It's a good way to see what your missiles are doing. It's nice to always visualize it. And then, so it looks like somebody's trying to launch a missile on me, but it could also be missiles near other people. We're going to turn around here. Notice that I'm just using free look and see, and I'm over here on my number pad as well, manipulating the radar. And you're playing finger Tetris, or something like that. Finger twister. Okay, who do we got here? I'm a big fan of whoever that is. He is well within range of my missile. And he does not see me. He's not pointing his nose over at me at all. Oh, he is aware now. I don't think it's gonna matter. Yep, it sure didn't. That's tough. Got this guy 45 out. I'm in a kind of a rough spot here, but I'm gonna go ahead and... no, you don't. Oh man, it got his missile right away. So I think that we might have to launch another Falcor here. Let's see what happens. We'll launch two. Let's just say we have two out on them. Just to be sure, we do have two R-27s, very capable missiles. Okay. Now we're gonna have to get in within fighting range of these guys. We'll see how these Falcors do. We got a lot of people. See what happens. There's a lot of traffic down there. That missile can be freaking out right now. Oh my god. Who's over here? Go ahead and hit this one into his dome. So we're dealing with just an F-16 here. He's not looking so hot. Don't really want to waste a missile on him. I got an AIM-9. I'll let it go. Oh, there we go. There we go. Somebody in the box. And got him. And got him. There it is. And we have one AIM-9P and one more guy left somewhere else. But, you know, you can see our fingers are going all around the keyboard. Focusing on the radar. There we go. We're switched back to TWS mode as well. And we're just going to scan. We're looking. Maybe a cheap kill, you know? Oh, well, he's actually really close to his runway. Well, my man was ground pounding. He's probably about to get absolutely demolished by that Tomcat. Oh my god, and I just fuel starved.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The Griffin just boomed right past us.
Have you seen videos of it in like real life, Diego?
No, I'll be honest, I haven't.
Oh, it's really cool. It's a lot bigger than you think.
Is it? I'll be honest, it looks like it's a very small plane for the game.
Shit again?
No.
so fucking cool.
Oh my god, that was great.
Can you save it? Can you save it? Come on, Andrew. Come on, Andrew.
It's hard to. It's not like a plane. Prop, I should say.
That shit won't even let you point it down, huh?
Mine's pointing down, but I got no control.
Andrew, yeah, fucking